first half, or this game completely?
You know, I thought it was a well-played game. Dowling Catholic kids really did a nice job. The second, third unit came in and executed nicely. First team, I tell you what, they came right out the first quarter, Paul, and the offense just took it right down the field. The defense did a great job the first half. These kids were ready to play tonight, and you want to get a little bit better every week, and I think that's what the coaches look for. Scores means nothing. Obviously, you want to win the game, but this score means nothing to them except for the win. But they want to see these kids improve, and they did do that tonight, and I give them credit, and they were very well prepared and ready to go tonight.
Now, those who are around the state or around the city will look at the score, 41-21, and think, oh, wasn't that dominant of a performance? It was a dominant performance by Dowling tonight.
Absolutely. And, you know, the coaches and players could care less about what the other people think of the score. And it's a great opportunity. The coaches did the right thing by letting these second and third string kids play. What a great opportunity to show the coaches. And, you know, we talked about during the game, there are a couple kids that I think may have earned not a starting position, but the opportunity to rotate in with that first unit, because they really showed the coaches that they could play this game just as well as the starters could.
And we'll check in with Brian Morris as they have broken midfield from their mid-meeting. Brian is at the 50-yard line, basically in the middle of that soccer circle. And he'll have a couple of players right here as we get ready. 41-21 is our final score tonight. Dowling Catholic wins. We'll take a look at some statistics. Rob Paulus just gave me those, and also Kurt Zimmerman, thanks to them. And we'll go down to the field now and check in Brian Morris.
Yeah, guys, I'm down here with Alex Heckman, starting defensive back. Alex, tell me a little bit about East. They came out, they had very good pass efficiency last week. The first team when you were in.
We just came out with the mindset that nobody was going to push us around, and we really needed this one. And basically, coaches have been saying to us all week that they want to beat us and they're going to come out physical and tough and everything, and we just had to come out on top.
Talk to me a little bit about the heat tonight, because the humidity was brutal for everybody, and all night long about playing with pads, and it must have been pretty tough out there.
The heat was really tough right this week, because last week it was pretty cool and everything, and then this week it was all in the 90s, and coach was just telling us all week, hydrate, 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 and that's all we had to do.
All right. Dave or Paul, the heat's getting to me too, guys. I have a question for Alex.
Alex, you did get the start on the defensive side of the ball tonight. Talk about the defensive effort, the way things came out for you tonight.
I thought we did really well tonight. We still have room to improve on defense, and basically it's basically a brand new defense and everything, so we're still trying to get to work together very well, and it's going good right now.
All right, that's Alex Heckman, starting right cornerback and backup tailback. Thank you so much for joining us. That's with Brian Morris, and Brian will make his way down to the next player. And, you know, Alex made a case last week on that good relief run that he had there, Dave. Gets a chance to play, see more playing time, but we'll get your thought on him after a little bit, but we'll go back down to the field. Dowling wins 41-21. Let's go back down to the field and Brian Morris.
Yeah, guys, I'm down here with Bing goalie, and been 4 touchdowns tonight. Running hard. I think that last touchdown, you cut it back. Great run, but talk to me about those 4 scores.
It's great to have 4 touchdowns, obviously, but you got to give all the credit to the offensive line. They played great tonight. Coach Williams is very proud of them. I'm proud of their effort, and I give it all to them. So.
A little bit. It looked like in the first half, Coach Wilson was getting the passing game going, which kind of opened up for you, and that gave you the opportunity to get on some of those holes. But, again, you did a lot of the nasty work.
Right. It helps with all the dynamic receivers we have with Amar Darbo, Brandon Ogden, and Matt Hawk out there. So it does really open up some nice lanes. It's fun to run into.
So you've gotten through 3 non-conference games. You hit Urbandale next week, conference game.
Well, Urbandale will be a tough team. They've been itching to get at us for a long time now, and I think we just have to keep playing our game, and good things will happen.
Dave or Paul, question for Mr. Goalie?
All right, Ben, great job. 4 touchdowns tonight. I know you're not about statistics or anything. It's about W's for this squad. And one thing that my partner, Mr. Marcoulier, said tonight, he says, you have really improved as a runner. Do you feel that the game has slowed down from week 1 to week 3?
Oh, I mean, week one we played a really tough team in Valley. They were fast, but I got to give credit to these last two teams we've played. They've also had great speed, but yeah, I think the running game has really opened up since then, and I guess you can say it's kind of slowed down.
But, I mean, you know how it is in baseball where, you see the pitch. It just seems when you seem more comfortable. Do you feel more comfortable in this offense and your role?
Yeah, definitely. Last year, for maybe the last half of the season, I didn't play running back at all because I had a little injury. But I'm becoming pretty comfortable in the offense now, and I feel good.
Ben Goley tonight, 4 touchdowns. Great job, Ben Goley, joining us here in the post-game show. Coach Tom Wilson is next. Goley tonight, 4 scores. Just an impressive. Thank you for joining us there. We'll talk to him next week. Maybe he'll score another 4 times. Well, Brian Morris is down there, 41-21. Hello to those of you listening in your cars, heading home here on 1150 KWKY. Back on the air next week at 6. Brian Morris is back on our sideline. Brian?
Coach Wilson, a third of the way through the season, what do you know about your team?
Well, we've certainly played a lot of guys through 3 weeks, to be honest with you, and I think, we did some very good things, I thought, in the first half tonight, both offensively, defensively wise, and, special teams, we did okay, but then in the second half, I thought we put some reserves in. I thought we started sputtering and things like that, which is a little bit disappointing, but I do think there was certainly some positive. I thought we were playing hard. I thought we were executing. You already talked to Ben Goley. He obviously ran very well, and the line allowed him to do that, and we had the passing game going to some degree.
You look at the schedule now, and it turns to a conference game, Urbandale down the road. Do you approach that any differently, or is it a game? Doesn't matter, conference, non-conference?
It really doesn't matter to us. We know in the CIML Central that it's going to be tough each and every week, and we really don't change our preparation. We may change our emphasis a little bit, but our kids know that Urbandale is going to come, and they're going to come to play, and we're going to have to play very well to get a win.
On the defensive side of the ball, East came in, was very efficient with the passing game, but I thought your defensive scheme was very well executed tonight, and they did not, on the first team, did not get many big gains.
They did, and I thought our kids did very well, and really what I thought our first team did was tackle pretty well. I thought, you get some of those kids in the open field, it gets kind of scary, and I thought our kids did a nice job with that. And then as we put other kids in the ball game, that started to trail off a little bit, but, that's how those kids are going to get better, is by playing. And some people argue maybe we put kids in too early, and I think an argument could be made for that. But then again, we want to give kids an opportunity to play and try to enhance their skills as well, with the hopes to make us a better team down the road.
Last question for me, Coach, before I throw it up to Paul and Dave. Injuries, any updates on Murfield or Clemens?
Clemens is an ankle sprain. Murph, he's had a hip flexor that he's been dealing with. It's hard to tell. I know they'll go in and get treatment tomorrow. I honestly think Murph could have came back in if we wanted him to, but there was really no need at that point.
Fellas?
Coach, good game. I want to ask you just a couple of things here. I mean, you talk about that second team. Last week, I asked you about it this morning. Getting those second-teamers meaningful snaps, because you just never know, but also was a factor tonight, injuries, on getting them in the game.
Yes and no. I thought our thought was just to get kids into the ball game and try to get them experience. Injury-wise, it didn't affect us that much on offense. On defense, it did a little bit just with our linebacking crew. But, I think the big thing is we want to get those guys experience, and we still want to be efficient in what we do. There's some times where I thought defensively they did a pretty good job, but then in third down, then we would let them take off, which was disappointing. And I think part of it was we didn't tackle as well. We'd lose contain. And again, they have some pretty good people on the outside, which made us look kind of foolish.
All right, that's head coach Tom Wilson. We'll talk to the athletic director, Tom Wilson, in just a couple of minutes. He'll make his way up here. That was Brian Morris with those two. And hopefully we'll have Coach. Maybe we won't. We'll see. Dowling wins 41-21. We'll take a break. We'll give you CIML scores, the out-of-town scoreboard, and run down some statistics, some very interesting numbers. What numbers did the Maroons top on their offensive total? You'll find out when we come back on the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Back at Williams Stadium, Paul Yeager alongside Brian Morris, Dave Marcoulier, Ramel Slaughter here, and Tom Wilson, the athletic director, also the head football coach, joins us now and makes his way up, catches his breath. And Coach, last week, there's not been much going on, but now you're really starting to hit stride for pretty much every athletic squad.
Oh, we are, and this week it seemed like everything was in full swing. I know our cross-country teams, both of them went up to Ames and ran very well, and I know coaches are pleased with their progress. Talked to Father Kirby a little bit. He couldn't be happier with how his kids are working and how they're performing. Haven't talked to Coach Ives as much, but we see those kids working all the time, and as I've said before, there's a reason why they're successful.
And, they work hard, they have to play hard, they have to work in this heat. Everybody has to play in this heat, but that's just what the fun and competition is about.
Well, it is, and the other day it was really hot when they went to Ames, and so obviously that was a concern, but they handled it very well, performed very well, and couldn't be happier. The same could be said for our girls volleyball team. They played Marshalltown and swept them this week and have continued to achieve and get better. I think they're ranked 4th right now, and I know those girls have been at it and working really throughout the year, and so enjoying the fruits of their labor.
Let's see, I see that they'd love to have an awesome show of fan support. Tournament play starts at 2:30 with matches at 3:30 and 4:30. So come out Saturday to Valley in your Dowling gear and cheer the volleyball team to victory. So we talked about football. You've talked a little bit about golf. Or anything more you want to add on golf?
Well, I really think our golf team, they're ranked number 2 right now. They've played extremely well. Beat Indianola through this week. I know James Hansen shot 35, Ricky DeBartolo and Jack Gradeville were runner-up at 37. They also played in the Johnston Invitational and played extremely well. I think one thing I'll say is you can go out and watch the golf team. It's not like they won't let you on the course, and these kids can play the game. And so I know Coach Gray is really excited about them. Girls swimming, they beat Waukee this week. They have really started out the year very well. They're ranked 3rd in the state in the power rankings, and I know they compete Tuesday at 5 o'clock in our pool, and I know they can't wait to swim at home.
All right, Mr. Wilson, anything else from the athletic squad? You don't have a home football game next week.
Well, no, and it's kind of a surprise, and this was a strange situation that I explained last week, but again, Rick Powell and Des Moines East have been tremendous to us, and for that we certainly appreciate it.
All right, it's Tom Wilson, athletic director. We'll let you get back to the team. Thank you so much, Coach, and we'll talk to you next week ahead of that Urbandale game. And Brian Morris will sit down here in a moment and join us. Let's take a look at some of those statistics. Dowling, 26 first down, 44 rushes for 260 yards, 15 of 23 passing, 249 yards total passing for a total of 509 yards. Dan Hartlib, 13 of 17 for 232 and a touchdown. Dankinger, 2 of 6 and got 17 yards. Goalie, 14 carries, 132 yards, 4 touchdowns for him. Matthew Hawk, 2 carries, 98 yards. Really impressive for him on a couple of those plays. Darbo, 6 catches, 79 yards, and a touchdown. We'll take a break. We'll look at other scores, and we'll recap the CIML. Sit down with Brian Morris and put a bow on this. You're listening to the official radio station of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY. Back at Williams Stadium, Dowling Catholic wins 41-21. Paul Yeager and Brian Morris to put a bow on this one. And let's let you know, out-of-town scoreboard, Southeast Polk over Waukee. That's not final yet, 30-0. There was an injury to the Waukee quarterback, kind of slowed that one down. Valley wins tonight against Indianola in their home opener, 49-10. Last score we had, Urbandale 12, Fort Dodge 7. Marshalltown in front of Johnston. That is a final now. That's gone final. Marshalltown 35, Johnston 21. Ankeny beats North 56-0 in the fourth quarter. Des Moines Roosevelt is on their way to their first victory, leading Grinnell 31-0. Mason City in front of Hoover 37-13. A final from Ames as they defeat Ottumwa 28-14. And Des Moines Lincoln scored 60 points to beat Sioux City East 60-41. Wahlert wins in the East, so does City High, Washington, Iowa City West, Linn-Mar, Cedar Falls, Muscatine, and Davenport Assumption, all with victories, as was Prairie City Monroe beating Madrid tonight 49-12. Brian Morris is here. Final thoughts there, Brian, on the performance by the Maroons.
You know, I thought that first half Dowling played really well, offensively and defensively. Again, Coach Wilson said you get the second team, the third team in the second half, and it just chops up the game a little bit. Those kids just haven't had the reps, but you know, I think the coaches are happy. They got a lot of players in again tonight, and you turn the clock over, and we're a third of the way done with the season. It's not even Labor Day yet. It's kind of crazy.
Well, I was looking. There's a poster in Coach Wilson's office that's the 2005 team, which I believe would be his first team here. Their first game wasn't until September 3rd that year.
Yeah, it's gotten a little nutty with like I say, we're a third of the way done. And the Jerry Lewis Telethon is not even on yet, so which is no longer the Jerry Lewis Telethon. But I thought Dowling played really well. I really did. I thought defensively, I thought they came out and did a great job on containing the East playmakers, and they weren't going to allow the wide receivers or James to beat them with their feet. And I thought that the tackling was a lot better.
One thing that Dave and I talked about a little bit on air and off was the ability of Lane to run the football, and if they would give the ball to Lane more, it made James more effective. It's just something they didn't seem to go to much until the second quarter.
Yeah, that is it is interesting to sit back and watch that. But if the philosophy of that coach is to spread it out and throw the ball around, you know, again, he may watch that tape and come to that same conclusion. Yep. But yeah, that Lane he ran hard tonight.
He did. All right, that's Brian Morris. We'll see you next week at Urbandale on the air at 6:00, and. Go cool off. I think you're going to need a shower after this fantastic ball game tonight. Again, our final score, 41-21, but I want to let you know that we have special thanks to Jerry Deegan, Ryan Osborne, Tom Wilson, Mark Amadeo, Peter Tarpey, Greg Goley, and Tim Burrow. Also, Dan McKillen and Matthew Phelps. 1150 KWKY's broadcast of Dowling Catholic High School football is produced by Mike Peters. Next Friday, we're at Urbandale at 6:00. Again, our final score, 41-21, Dowling Catholic wins. This is Paul Yeager on the home of Dowling Catholic Sports, 1150 KWKY.